Disney is known for many things: a talking mouse, immersive theme parks, jaw-dropping animation, but one of the things that it has become most associated with are princesses.
Oh, we all kind of got it.
Disney princesses have a special place in the hearts and minds of fans everywhere.
She is a princess!
From the very first full-length animated movie Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, Disney has turned out a steady stream of princess tales, and everyone seems to have a favorite princess. Yet far less recognized are the siblings of Disney's lineup of princesses. While it's true many of these characters don't have them, there are several who do, or at least were going to. In this video, we're taking a look at the unsung siblings of the Disney princesses. From brothers to sisters to stepsisters, from warm ties to terrible rivalry, we're exploring the often overlooked Disney princesses' siblings.
Just sibling rivalry.
Belle from 1991's Beauty and the Beast is famously an only child. She lives with her inventor father in a small town full of people who don't understand her bookish ways. However, in the original version of the film, Belle had a younger sister named Clarice.
Well, hello, Clarice.
It's hard to say how Clarice was meant to fit into the story. One thing's for sure though, a sister probably would have made the misunderstanding Belle felt from the people in her village more bearable. As a result, Clarice never saw the light of day and was axed from the final film.
You really believe that?
I always have.
Apparently, screenwriter Linda Wolverton rewrote the film from scratch, and Clarice was one of the things she cut.
She's not coming.
The reason? Wolverton wanted to emphasize the loneliness Belle experienced in her small town. Interestingly, several versions of the original fairy tale of Beauty and the Beast gave Belle a lot of siblings. In some of the earliest stories, Belle was the youngest child of a wealthy merchant who had 3 sons and 3 daughters. In those tales, Belle wasn't only the prettiest of her sisters, she was also the nicest too. And that was the reason why she was able to see past the Beast's appearance and fall in love with him.
Thank you for understanding how much he needs me.
Perhaps the best known and most celebrated sibling pair in all of Disney animation is Anna and Elsa from Frozen. We know the whole history of these sisters' challenging yet loving relationship. In fact, Anna and Elsa finally coming back together after a long period of estrangement is the core of the movie Frozen.
I've never been better. This is so nice.
It also makes them the only Disney princesses who actually know that another Disney princess exists. Of course, both Elsa and Anna are also the only Disney princesses we know of who have eventually become queen in their animated movies. Despite all that, they're not officially part of the Disney princess lineup for some reason. Get on with it, Disney! The beautiful thing about Anna and Elsa is that they genuinely care for each other. Anna never gives up on Elsa even when others are intimidated by her magic, and Elsa isolates herself from Anna to protect her little sister from her powers. By Frozen 2, this duo shares the kind of bond we all wish we had with our siblings. Still, some have wondered why Anna and Elsa don't look more alike. Anna is brunette and freckled, while Elsa is platinum blonde.
I was born with it.
We can't speak to the genetics of the animated sisters, but one way or another, we know these two grew up with one another, and that makes them sisters in our book. In 1989's The Little Mermaid, we met the title character Ariel. We also met her 6 older sisters, Atina, Alana, Adela, Aquata, Arista, and Adrina. With that many sisters, Ariel is the Disney princess with the most siblings. In the movie though, she barely interacts with them. She spends most of her time alone in her cave of human treasures. She doesn't even show up for the concert that was supposed to be her big musical introduction.
She's a sister.
Nothing short of scandalous. Given how little attention Ariel pays to them, her sisters don't really come across as individual characters. They're princesses just like her little sister, but no one really thinks of them like that. In the prequel TV series and movie Ariel's Beginning, these 6 get slightly more screen time. There, they help their little sister to bring music back to their underwater kingdom. Still, Ariel's the one who drives the action. Even the girl's father, King Triton, seems especially preoccupied about what Ariel is doing. Ariel's sisters weren't really well developed in the original Hans Christian Andersen tale either. In that version of The Little Mermaid, Ariel's sisters sell their hair for a solution to help her after she makes her deal with the Sea Witch. Of course, things go very differently and are a whole lot more depressing in that version of the story. Disney's singing mermaid siblings are a lot more uplifting. In the original animated version of Mulan from 1998, Mulan was an only child who lived with her mother, father, and grandmother. So when her elderly father was drafted into the army, it fell onto her to take his place.
I volunteer! I volunteer!
However, Mulan's family structure was changed for the live-action remake of the movie. Actually, there were a lot of things that were changed for the live-action Mulan. The one that's gotten the most attention is probably the elimination of Mulan's love interest, Li Shan. However, one of the other big changes is that Mulan no longer has a grandmother in the live-action film, but she does have a sister. According to Jason Reed, the producer of the movie, Mulan's sister was added to present a contrast to the title character. The filmmakers wanted to show a woman who stays within the expected boundaries so they could demonstrate just how different Mulan is. In fact, the movie starts with a scene of Mulan and her sister as children that shows Mulan's always colored outside of the lines. That doesn't mean these two sisters are antagonistic though. They love and support each other.
Come on, Daria, we're sisters. We've got to stick together.
They just see the world very differently. It's why Mulan is able to rise to the occasion and join the army, something her sister would never do. Of course, we should also add that despite Disney adding Mulan to their Disney princess lineup, Mulan isn't royal by birth or marriage, and that means her sister isn't either. Princess Merida from 2012's Brave has the distinction of being the only Disney princess with brothers. Actually, Merida has 3 of them, triplets named Harris, Hubert, and Hamish, who are significantly younger than she is. In the movie, the boys are far less concerned with being royalty than they are with getting into mischief of all kinds. They steal tarts, they stow away on ships, they participate in brawls, and yet they never speak. Somehow they convey all they need to through their facial expressions and actions. So they're pretty much the comic relief of the film. At one point, they even turn into 3 pretty adorable bear cubs. Don't worry though, they eventually become human again. You might think that one of them, and not their older sister Merida, would be next in line for the throne, but according to the TV show Once Upon a Time, it's actually Merida who succeeds her father and becomes queen of their Scottish kingdom. Unfortunately, some of the neighboring clans aren't too big on a woman leader, so they kidnap Merida's brothers to make a point. Merida, being as capable as any man, finds and rescues them and still maintains her throne. Like many a Disney princess, Moana, who starred in her own self-titled film in 2016, is an only child. But it wasn't always going to be that way. In early story ideas for Moana, the character had a whopping 9 brothers. They were even designed by animator Min-Kyu Lee. Each design was meant to bring out the individual brothers' underlying personality. The eldest was the leader of the pack and a lot like Moana's father, Chief Tui. The second-born brother was a warrior. The third brother was an artist and a dreamer, and apparently the one Moana would have felt the closest bond with. The fourth brother was actually given a name, Wakaroa, and was the big, easygoing teddy bear of the bunch. The fifth and sixth brothers were twins, and given the importance of sailing in the world of Moana, these two were granted superior powers of synchronized rowing. Brother number 7 was the suave one, a ladies' man who could cut a rug with the rest of them. Then there are the offbeat final 2. The 8th brother was described as annoying and loud, and the 9th one was aloof and weird. In an early idea for the story, Moana's 9 brothers sailed away from their island home and didn't return. That left it to Moana to rescue them. Another possible plotline would have seen Moana and her brothers having sailing races, with Moana always emerging as the clear winner. Ultimately though, things didn't work out for the brothers and they ended up on the cutting room floor.
Forget it, you'll never get it back.
If Frozen's Elsa and Anna are the most inspiring Disney princess siblings, Cinderella and her stepsisters represent the exact opposite. As far back as the original fairy tale, Cinderella always had a pair of stepsisters, and they always had an antagonistic relationship. In Disney's 1950 animated version of the story, those stepsisters were named Anastasia and Drizella. And even though they look to be about the same age as Cinderella, they've treated her like a servant ever since they were young children. Of course, the root of the stepsisters' attitude towards Cinderella can be traced back to their mother, Lady Tremaine. She's the one who decided to make Cinderella the housekeeper. Meanwhile, she gives her daughters everything she can. It's no wonder Anastasia and Drizella don't know better than to be cruel to Cinderella. In the direct-to-DVD Cinderella sequels Dreams Come True and A Twist in Time, however, one of the stepsisters actually redeems herself. In the first sequel, Anastasia falls in love with a lowly baker despite her mother and sister's disapproval. This leaves Cinderella as the only one she can turn to. Then, in the second sequel, Lady Tremaine uses magic to trick the prince into marrying Anastasia. But Anastasia doesn't go through with it, instead deciding she wants to be loved for herself. She also reunites Cinderella with the prince, solidifying her redemption. Lilo from Lilo and Stitch is definitely not a princess, but if Disney gets to decide Mulan's royalty, we can include Lilo in our video on princess siblings, especially since Lilo's sibling is such a standout. When Lilo loses her parents, her older sister Nani becomes her guardian. While Lilo can be a bit of an oddball, especially once Stitch enters her life, Nani is always patient and understanding of her sister. She does everything she can to support their little family financially, and is the guiding parental figure Lilo often needs. Although the two may not have a lot, they have each other, and they make it clear that is more than enough for them. So there you have it. All the different sibling relationships of the Disney princesses. Does your favorite princess have a sibling? Do you want to see more Disney princesses forge sibling bonds after the power of Anna and Elsa's sisterhood? Share your thoughts in the comments below. And if you haven't done it already, don't forget to give this video a big thumbs up and subscribe to The Binger for more great pop culture content. Thanks for watching.